To me, Eindhoven is indeed a city where it's almost always tomorrow. And what I mean is that there are huge opportunities. For example, I'm a native. I come from Veldhoven, so of course I worked in Philips. And when I started working in Philips, I was the first internal communications guy for product division. And the day I arrived, I found out that Philips was working with Cisco. And everybody nowadays knows who Cisco is. It's the company that made the internet great again. So I asked my colleagues, how many websites does Philips have on the intranet? And the answer was 2. I said, don't be ridiculous, how many really? And the answer was 2. As the first internal communications guy in Philips, I was able to build the intranet in Philips. Then I moved to Philips Research, which was also a great company to work with. It's on that very smart kilometer in Eindhoven. We had, of course, media come by, and at some moment there was an American journalist, and she was really happy to be in the MICROLAB, and at some moment she started to cry. So I asked her, I gave her some water, and I asked, why are you crying? And then she said, at MIT in the States, we get educated that the very first multimedia experience in the world was in 1958 in the World Expo in Brussels. And that was in the Philips pavilion, where Kalf, who was the boss of Philips Design, worked with Le Corbusier and Varese to create the very first multimedia experience. And what we call surround sound was then exhibited to the world for the first time. Video projection was exhibited to the world for the first time. She secretly strived to get to Eindhoven to witness and talk to these people and the legacy of the company who made that happen. Eindhoven for me is a place where these things are possible, and art and technology was mentioned earlier, but we have industrial creatives and the creative industry who can get together to make these things happen. Then I get a little uneasy, because nowadays Eindhoven has the smartest kilometer in the world. We have the biggest design week of Northern Europe. Glow will have 1 million visitors, and increasingly I think, yeah, but what is the substance here? What is being done? Making multimedia happen is something. Building the internet and being the first European company in the world to work with Cisco to make that technology strive and grow. And increasingly I find in Eindhoven, whereas we used to work on things that made tomorrow happen and that were relevant tomorrow, I'm searching for it. I don't know what 1 million visitors to Glow means, what impact that has, why that's relevant. The smartest kilometer in the world. What if you don't do anything with a patent portfolio, why is it important to have it? For example, when I experienced the Dutch Design Week, we now have this crazy guy who doesn't come from Eindhoven running around saying, hey, let's clean up the ocean and let's get all this plastic out. And that he did that based on an idea, and then he designed the machine happened, he's now doing that. And somebody like that should be in Eindhoven, somebody like that should be on the Dutch Design Week, but instead I walk into Stella, which is great. It's super to have Stella, to have a car that runs on light from the sun, but I've seen Stella now for, I don't know, it's been on the news, I've seen it for 5 years, that doesn't make me happy anymore. So I'm looking for this substance, and I'm wondering if I'm the only one who is uneasy with all these great, super, wonderful, better things. The other question is, of course, we don't want to be helpless, we want to do something about it. This is Eindhoven, we want to create tomorrow. And then I think a few years ago there was a guy, Sim Notza, and he created DIT, D-I-T, and that stands for doing it together. But the initiative died. So he even said, this is our DNA, this is what we want to do, this is bringing art and technology together to do meaningful things, and yet it went away. And then I'm thinking, okay, we have all these people going after the super, great, wonderful, best. I am looking for the substance and I can't find it. So my invitation to you, if you also have this unease and if you're also looking for substance, then talk to me, and Sim and I will buy you a coffee and we can talk and maybe start creating better things for tomorrow again together.